Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ClearWater Motorsports, and thank you so much for tuning in. We are so excited to have you as we kick off Season 4. I'm your host, B-rye, and I'm joined by my co-host, DropDead. Drop, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the people and share with us how excited you are for this season as we get a sneak peek at some of the tracks.
I'm very excited for how some of these tracks are going to play out throughout the season. And as B-rye said, I am DropDead, and I'm here to commentate this whole season and give you all the greatest action we possibly can.
So excited for this season, Drop. Excited to be announcing with you as we look at Baltimore here. This should be an incredible season. We have tons of great drivers, 3 tours in total. I just can't get over how good this season's going to be.
Neither can I. And looking at some of these stops here, like Anaheim, going to be an absolute mud fest. And looking back at Baltimore, even here, looking at Del Mar, California, great show. And, you know, these tracks are well put together. The guy who gets behind them, designs them, incredible of what he does. And looking here, we have Atlanta as well. Just incredible work, different paint schemes. And, you know, what are your thoughts on some of these tracks?
Oh, my thoughts are just the same as yours. The amount of detail and care put in each one of them is incredible. As we look at Anaheim here again, and the amount of fun and excitement we should see out of our drivers, I can't wait. It's going to be incredible.
And just like how B-rye said that there's high level of these tracks, the drivers are just as skilled. High quality tracks equals high quality drivers.
That's a great point, Drop. And as we look at Miami here, let's go ahead and take a look at some of those high quality drivers that we got for our 3 tours. Starting with the Monster Energy Stadium Championship Series, let's take a look at our field of competitors. First up is Clem, tied for first on Friday Tour last season, looking to solidify that #1 spot.
And next up we have Ace Man and Hooked, new face to the tour. He's looking to make a name for himself.
DC in Bounty Hunter, last season's 2-wheel skills grand champion.
A good old friend of mine, Ducky, dangerous competitor if he's there. Definitely here to represent tomfoolery.
Next up, Trip Racing and Tailgater, not on a tour last year, looking to make a name for himself.
Nova having a perfect season last season, representing Kraken.
Shadow in Monster Mutt finished 7th in the Friday Tour last year, looking to be better this season. And here is the schedule for the Monster Energy Stadium Championship Series. First, we will be in Miami, Florida.
Followed in week number 2, Orlando, Florida, January 11th through the 12th.
Then in week 3, we head up to Atlanta, Georgia on January 18th and the 19th.
Going into week 4, we're going to Daytona, Florida at Daytona International Speedway.
In week 5, we'll hit Houston, Texas at NRG Stadium to see what our drivers got. Next up is Patriot in Stone Crusher. Low finish in the tour last year, driving with something to prove.
B-rye, the man himself in Blue Thunder, representing that Ford sponsor.
Batty and Iron Outlaw finished 11th in the Thursday Tour, looking to be more consistent this year.
LPV, one of the 3 Gravedigger drivers, very consistent, has a chance of winning.
Wizard and Bakugan Dragonoid, new to the tour, looking to make a name for himself.
Bringing out the old shark is Prime, here to make some noise.
Big Fish and Son of a Digger consistently in the top tier as long as his equipment holds up, and one of the most dangerous on the tour.
Now looking at this lineup, what are your initial thoughts just seeing these names on here?
I mean, first and foremost, Dropped, it is stacked. We got Clem, Big Fish, DC, Nova. It is crazy. It should be an incredible competition throughout.
And looking at this lineup, my personal top 3 is just going to be Nova, Big Fish, Clem. No specific order. Amazing top 3.
Absolutely. And as we move on to look at the AMO Arena Championship Series, we start with Brum and Jailbird. Can be a top driver if he's able to make all the events.
Coming straight from prom, we have Danny and Velociraptor representing Throttle Monster.
Next up, Joey in Dragon, new to the tour, starting out in arenas, looking to make a name for himself.
Max D. Matt, the man himself, and Max D. The name didn't speak for itself as he's brand new to the scene.
A lot of brand new drivers here on the Arena Championship Series. As we go ahead and look at the schedule, we'll start out in Toledo, Ohio, week 1 on January the 8th.
Moving into week 2, we're going to Gilbert, Pennsylvania, January 15th to see what these drivers can do.
In week 3, we head to Baltimore, Maryland, keeping it on the East Coast, looking to see what our drivers got.
Moving into week 4, we're going to Stafford Springs, Connecticut, February 12th.
On to week 5 in Rosemont, Illinois on February the 26th. Back into our driver lineup we go. We have Lube in Nitro Menace, another new face.
We have Seawookie in Jurassic Attack, also representing Throttle Monster, first invite to an Arena Series.
Rydog in Thunder Roars finished just outside of qualifying for World Finals last season. Let's see if he can make up for it.
And the second Gravedigger driver of the 3, Peppa. Moving into week 6, the second half of the tour, Fargo, North Dakota, March 4th.
On to week number 7 in Grand Forks, North Dakota on March the 11th.
Week 8, Del Mar, California, March 18th.
Week 9, Tacoma, Washington, March the 25th for the first of 2 shows.
The second of those 2, week 10, Tacoma, Washington, April 1st.
And then wrapping it up at the All-Star Challenge in Glendale, Arizona on April the 12th. And here we see the complete field of drivers for the Arena Championship Series drop. A lot of new faces. I really think this is anybody's game here.
I definitely agree. Looking back at preseason, I have my eyes on Joey. He was very consistent in the offseason and definitely showed promise.
Absolutely. Brum is another guy to watch. One of those guys that if he shows up and is consistent, he might have a chance to take the whole thing. Next, we move on to the Liquid Death Stadium Championship Series to check out our field of drivers for our third and final tour.
Starting off the Liquid Death Series, we have Ace Racer in Wildside.
Next up, Hayden in Avenger, new to Clearwater. Let's see what he's got.
The defending racing champion, Nathan Hills in Bad Company.
Monster in Lucas Stabilizer, tied for first place last season. Let's see what he's got this season.
We have Prawn in Overboard, a man who is not on a tour but will be consistent.
Bryce Henry and Earthshaker finished second in the Thursday Tour last season. Let's see if he can get that top spot.
Man Bun Josh and Thunder Roar is new to Clearwater. Let's see what he can do.
And we'll finish up the schedule for the Stadium Championship Series. Week 6 will be in Arlington, Texas on February the 29th and March 1st.
Week 7 going to Minneapolis, Minnesota, March 7th through the 8th.
Week 8 in Oakland, California on March the 14th and the 15th.
Week 9 going to Anaheim, California, March 21st to the 22nd.
And wrapping up the regular season, Week 10 in Seattle, Washington should be a great event. We'll see if there's any points and positioning up for grabs. And then we'll finish out, of course, at the All-Star Challenge in Glendale, Arizona. Into the back half of our lineup, DropDead in Pirate's Curse finished 10th on the Friday Tour last year, looking to improve.
Foxy here in Black Pearl, another new face to the scene. Let's see what he can do.
Keeping the trend of new faces going, we have Frivolous in Shaker.
The other Team Scream driver, Mix in Brutus.
And TCM and Max D finished 5th on Thursday Tour last season, looking for a better spot this one.
Slick, the underdog of last year, looking to make a bigger name for himself this time.
And the third and final Gravedigger, Steve, finished 5th on Friday Tour and looking to be better in racing this season. And here we go, Drop. Looking at this complete lineup, including yourself, I see nothing but great drivers. I think it's going to be between Rye, Monster, and Steve as some of the best competitors on this tour. What do you think?
I definitely can agree. Some of the people to sleep on this tour, don't sleep on Hayden 900, don't sleep on Prawn. They're definitely going to be higher up there in points.
Absolutely can't sleep on Nathan H. either. I just look at every single one of the drivers in this tour, and I don't know who's going to come out on top. It should be great. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here at Clearwater for our announcement video for Season 4. Me and Drop have had an incredible time talking to you guys about this season, and we can't wait for the action that comes next. Drop, you got anything to add to tell these guys before we get out of here?
I'm definitely excited to run this tour. I'm definitely excited to see how it all plays out, and I hope to see everyone at each one of these tour stops.
Absolutely. We've got 3 overall champions to crown in 3 different tours, and then, of course, the All-Star champions. Can't wait to see what comes next. Make sure you check back here at Clearwater Motorsports.